Chapter 841, Establishing Friendship. It was often said that one must give something first before receiving something else in return. Tang Xiu was secretly satisfied with Wang Tao's attitude. As long as he could cure his illness, even though it was not enough for Wang Tao to respectfully pay back his gratitude, it would also serve as extra points to the cause. After diagnosing Wang Tao using Chinese medical art, Tang Xiu clearly figured out the guy's symptoms. Something that was unexpected to him was that this guy turned out to have contracted a particular disease. Your kidney is kind of having a yang energy deficiency. There should be symptoms of impotence and premature ejaculation. Tang Xiu loosened his hand and looked at Wang Tao with a pale smile. An embarrassed look could be seen on Wang Tao's face as he awkwardly rubbed his hands and asked, "You can only see these symptoms?" "Of course, they're not the only ones," Tang Xiu shook his head and explained. "You have contracted an STD that is much more serious than normal genital viruses. Your member also begins to become inflamed and has purulent discharge, even ulceration. If you don't treat it in time, you could become a eunuch and have your life threatened." Wang Tao's expression whitened as he said, "You're simply a god, big brother Tang. I never thought that a cultivator could actually have such deep knowledge in Chinese medicine. Your diagnosis is correct. I've been to several large hospitals and the results from their diagnosis are just like you told me. However, they are helpless in being able to cure the virus. I can only have a medication to suppress it, so I already plan to leave for Beijing to seek treatment. That is, after my family has conducted the opening sale ceremony for the Golden Goblet Emperor Gu's Villa complex. I might have to seek treatment abroad should it fail." Tang Xiu secretly felt lucky since he came to Qinglin County in time. If he hadn't, this guy would have really come to Beijing or overseas to seek treatment, making it difficult to find him. "I can cure this disease." Wang Tao was overjoyed and said in a hurry, "If you really can cure my illness, I'll pay anything, big brother Tang. You'll be my great benefactor from now on." "I'm flattered for such heavy words. But the reason I came to Qingqing Mountain is to repay a debt of gratitude. And since Wang Rui is your big brother, helping you is equal to paying it," said Tang Xiu with a smile. The words, however, made Wang Tao a bit awkward and embarrassed. "You've misunderstood something, big brother Tang. Wang Rui is not my biological brother. He's the son of my uncle, my paternal cousin." Tang Xiu frowned intentionally and concealed his real feelings. Just as Wang Tao was anxious that Tang Xiu would take back his words and wanted to speak, Tang Xiu nodded and said, "I'll still treat you, even if he's not your real brother. To tell you the truth, I've felt like I can relate with you ever since we've met, so I'll still cure you as long as you need treatment, regardless of your relationship with Wang Rui. As for the payment, the best one is as long as you can regard me as your friend." Feeling congenial? And becoming friends? The words shook Wang Hao's heart, as he didn't expect that he had such a strong affinity with Tang Xiu. Even this magnificent Tang Corp's big boss felt that they hit it off the first time they met. How could such a big fortune fall on him? "I also have another identity," said Tang Xiu with a smile. "I'm a doctor at the Star City Chinese Medical Hospital. There has been quite a lot of coverage about me, you can find it if you browse the internet." A doctor from the Star City Chinese Medical Hospital? Wang Tao felt a bit incredulous inside. How come such a dignified cultivator, as well as the big boss of the magnificent Tang Corporation, would work as a doctor in the hospital? He thought for a moment before he quickly took out his mobile and searched for Star City Chinese Medical Hospital doctors. After a while, he saw a list of reports about the Star City Chinese Medical Hospital and most of the news was tagged with, "The young divine Dr. Tang Xiu." Real, it's real. Wang Tao looked up and asked with a vacant expression, "Big brother Tang, how exactly did you work as a doctor in a Chinese medical hospital, considering your identity?" "It's true that I'm the owner of Magnificent Tang Corporation and am also a cultivator," said Tang Xiu. "But to me, any profession has no distinction of status and rank, be it low or honored. I have the skills, so I must properly put them to use. I went to the Chinese medical hospital to render my services as a doctor in my spare time. There have been many patients, be it illness or injuries, that were cured by me. Just as a doctor, I've been able to save lives and rescue more and more people. So, Brother Wang Tao, don't you think you'll find delight and happiness by helping others at the same time? Wang Tao himself had been taught the saying of taking pleasure of helping others since childhood, but he never intentionally helped others, nor did he ever feel happiness and delight in serving others at the same time. Tang Xiu was as though sensing Wang Tao's thoughts and continued again, truth be told, when I was in the hospital, I saw many patients who were about to die, injured people who were in pain, whining, and mourning. I especially saw the moments when they were in despair and frightened. And yet, I felt a sense of accomplishment when I reached out my hands to save them. You can imagine that there's an injured person laying before you with bleeding wounds, and then you finally retain their lives. You then face them while they express their gratitude along with respect, affection, and praise. Some of them even wish they could kowtow to express their thanks. Would you feel joy and happiness through such scenes? Scenes that depicted Tang Xiu's words emerged inside Wang Tao's mind as he fell into his imagination for a dozen seconds. He was then back to his senses with a gradually dissipating smile. It's indeed a blissful and joyous scene. Let me tell you another analogy, said Tang Xiu with a smile. I'll be blissful when I'm capable to cure you since I feel that we can be friends. If you put yourself in my shoes and are also a doctor, then when you see your loved one's terminal illness and have to act to cure them, will you feel joyful and blissful? Tang Xiu's words deeply touched Wang Tao's heart. He never thought that Tang Xiu would be so affectionate as to liken himself to caring for relatives. We're brothers, it's said and done. Wang Tao looked at Tang Xiu and solemnly said, I will never say anything about paying you back anymore. Please help me treat my illness, big brother Tang, for you are my brother. Others might not dare to say that they will forsake their lives for the sake of their brothers, but I absolutely can do it. Tang Xiu laughed in a crisp voice and said, Great. I'm really not mistaken about you. You're a man of character. Immediately after, Tang Xiu took out a paper and quickly wrote a prescription. Then he handed it to Wang Tao and said, Tell the men under you to get medicine according to this prescription. Remember, what you must buy are top-quality medicinal herbs, these being wild herbs. I'll start boiling the Chinese herbal medicine for you after you buy all of them, then apply it on the infected part of your body to remove the virus. After saying that, he wrote another prescription and gave it to Wang Tao again. The medicinal herbs written here are as expensive as the previous ones. You can buy them for several hundred yuan. After you buy them, I'll continue treating the torment you've been suffering. It's medicine for your internal organs and will nourish your kidneys to treat the yang deficiency symptoms. I dare not say anything else, but you can dramatically improve the quality of your sexual life as long as you take the medication a few times. Drinking it continually for a month will make you able to satisfy your woman repeatedly every night. That would be great. Wang Tao was ecstatic and his eyes were particularly blazing when he looked at Tang Xiu. Then he handed over the 2 prescriptions to the woman and told her to get the herbs personally. In the meantime, he boiled tea by himself and brought his best Cuban cigar out from abroad and personally served them for Tang Xiu. Big brother Tang, you've come from far away place, so just stay here. We, brothers, are like old friends even at the first time we met. Besides, I also want to know more about you and get along well. Might as well stay here even if we brothers still have plenty of time to meet in the future, replied Tang Xiu with a smile. Besides, I can't go anywhere for the time being and gotta stay with you. I won't go even if you want to drive me out. But why? Wang Tao didn't have the slightest idea to drive Tang Xiu away, but the reply confused him and he curiously asked, Are you staying here temporarily to wait for my brother? Hey, didn't you say it previously that your brother is being locked up to face the wall to reflect on his mistakes? Said Tang Xiu snappily. How can I not stay here? I must stay here for some time to wait for your subordinate who's buying those medicinal herbs to come back since I need to personally administer the herbal medicine for you. Wang Tao instantly came to his senses and said embarrassedly, you see, my pig brain is kinda smart, but, well, every man has a fool up his sleeve, no? Anyways, we felt like old buddies at the first meeting today, Big Brother Tang. I'll tell my people to prepare good wine and meals later today. Let's get drunk before we part. Nope. Just tea and meals for dinner. Tang Xiu shook his head and said, forget alcohol. Do you think the wine I'll be preparing is not as good as your magnificent Tang's God's nectar, Brother Tang? Asked Wang Tao quickly. I admit it's not comparable to that wine indeed. I gotta say you're sometimes smart and yet stupid like a pig sometimes. I even feel that you love imagining things to entertain all sort of ideas, commented Tang Xiu helplessly. You wanna know why you mustn't drink? It's because you must drink that herbal medicine today. If you were to get drunk, how can you drink that medicine to treat your illness, huh? Wang Tao was instantly petrified and the color of his face turned into the shade of a baboon's bottom. It took a long time before he could ease up from his embarrassment. Outside the courtyard's gate, the female who just went out of the courtyard with the 2 herbal medicine prescriptions saw a Mercedes-Benz business car coming from the distance. She was familiar with its plate number and instantly realized that her big boss was coming. As expected, Wang Shuigang in a black suit opened its door and came out of the car. He looked at the female and asked, is little Tao at home? He is, sir, answered the female quickly. Wang Shuigang nodded and was about to enter when he suddenly stopped and asked again, what are you going to do? A guest came to visit and young Master Wang asked me to buy herbs according to the prescription wrote by that guest, answered the female. Who's this guest? Asked Wang Shuigang with a frown. I don't know. The female shook her head and said, I wasn't around when young Master Wang was conversing with him. Wang Shuigang's brows creased deeper and discontentedly said, show me that prescription. The female quickly handed the prescription to Wang Shuigang. She knew that her big boss had started from a barefoot doctor and his career had been rapidly promoted after he cured a certain big personage of his sickness due to coincidence. Chapter 842, Dramatic Change in Attitude. After taking the 2 prescriptions and reading the names of the herbs on them, Wang Shuigang's expression turned cloudy. He tightly gripped his fists and crumpled the 2 notes. This unfilial son, got a venereal disease? The female's expression changed and immediately said with solemnity, doctors also said that he has contracted a virus, but not venereal disease, however. But what? Yelled Wang Shuigang. The virus is much more serious than a venereal one, said the woman quickly. Even some experts from large hospitals are helpless in how to treat it. But still, the person who wrote these 2 prescriptions for young Master Wang may look a bit unreliable. But the young master ordered me to buy them, so I don't dare to question it. Wang Shuigang snorted angrily and took the 2 prescriptions as headed into the courtyard gate. After he came to the villa's living room, his eyes only glanced at Wang Hao before they were fixated on Tang Xiu. Are you the Chinese medical practitioner who wrote these 2 prescriptions? Asked Wang Shuigang in a deep voice as he stood in front of Tang Xiu while showing the 2 prescriptions. Tang Xiu creased his brows and was about to reply, but Wang Tao hurriedly got up and loudly said, Father, what are you doing? Big Brother Tang is my friend and not your men. Don't talk to my friend with that attitude. Wang Shuigang turned his head and glared at him and then said, shut up. A kid wants to teach his father, huh? Humph, you're a wastrel who always wastes your time visiting brothels and even contracted a venereal disease. I'm not done with this issue, you'll see how I'll teach you a lesson later. Wang Tao's face paled after getting reprimanded by his father in front of Tang Xiu. He couldn't accept it and retorted loudly, do you know who this friend in front of me really is? It's true that I contracted a virus due to my mistake. I can promise you that won't mess up and be unruly in the future, but you can't talk to my friend with that kind of attitude, can you? Humph, friend. What I see is just a fox, a liar. There have been too many con men nowadays. You're still too green and you'll be swindled by him if I don't keep you in check. Besides, look at his age, where does it look like someone who knows Chinese medicine, sneered Wang Shuigang. Tang Xiu got up and indifferently squinted at Wang Shuigang before he looked at the angry Wang Tao. Then he said apathetically, I'm a swindler, huh? That indeed is true, it's just that I didn't expect it to be easily seen. Since your father thinks I don't have the abilities and have the likes of a cheap conman, I can also leave. Wang Tao hurriedly stopped Tang Xiu and said with an apologetic expression, Big brother Tang, please don't be angry. My dad doesn't know your identity. After saying that, he furiously looked at Wang Shuigang and said loudly, Dad, I know that you always judge a book by its cover. But I can tell you for sure, Big brother Tang Xiu is absolutely no swindler. Big brother Tang? Aren't you much older than him? Why the hell should you address him as Big Brother? Wang Shuigang's anger was now mostly replaced with disbelief. That's right, I must address him as Big Brother, though I'm in fact wanting to befriend him due to his high status, retorted Wang Lao loudly. Do you really not know him? Take a look at his face carefully, what company is the most famous nowadays in the country? Wang Shuigang was flabbergasted. This was his first time seeing his son unyielding and very angry with him. He tightly creased his brows and thought carefully for a while and then sneered, there are tons of famous domestic companies nowadays. Who the hell will know the one you're talking about? You know what? He's Tang Xiu, the big boss of magnificent Tang Corporation, and also the young divine doctor of Star City Chinese Medical Hospital, said Wang Tao loudly. Now tell me, Dad. Do you really think that someone like Big Brother Tang, who has such identity, will just visit my place to swindle me? Wang Shuigang was stunned and immediately took his mobile out to browse for the Tang Xiu name and quickly found photos of the tagged keyword. His expression dramatically changed as he checked the photo and the man. There was a look of shock as well as disbelief on his face. It's... Wang Shuigang wanted to speak, but was rendered speechless. He could have continued his attitude if he hadn't discerned Tang Xiu's identity, but the young man in front of him was indeed the big boss of the famous magnificent Tang Corporation, as well as the young divine doctor of the Star City Chinese Medical Hospital. The revelation made him somewhat restless inside. With a bit of a proud expression, Wang Tao said, Dad, the fact is, Big Brother Tang came to me because of my brother, but he's still locked up to face the wall in the Qingcheng Monastery. Hence, he is staying here while administering my disease treatment. You also know brother's status, Big Brother Tang and him are kind of good friends. Wang Rui's friend. Wang Shuigang finally understood why Tang Xiu, the big boss of the famous magnificent Tang Corp, would come to such a small place like Qinglin City and appear in the residence of his wastrel son. An awkward yet embarrassed expression instantly covered his face. He slapped his own lips, let out a dry cough and then hollowly smiled, Boss Tang, I was really offensive just now because this wastrel son of mine contracted a venereal disease. Well, it's all my fault, so please forgive my ignorance with your magnanimous heart. I've long heard about your famous and resounding name and I've been wanting to pay you a visit for a long time. But I'm just a small-time businessman, and I've been afraid that I don't have the qualification, so... Tang Xiu just glanced at him coldly and detachedly said, Wang Tao and I are like old friends at our first meeting. We have become good friends due to that. I won't take this matter to heart since you're his father, not to mention that you've figured out my identity as the young divine doctor from the Star City Chinese Medical Hospital. Those big hospitals may not be able to cure him, but not me. If you don't want to delay your son's harrowing condition, send someone to buy the herbs according to those prescriptions. Yes, yes. Wang Shuigang hurriedly called the female he came in with and handed her the 2 prescriptions and urged, hurry to get the medicine and buy the best herbs, you hear? The female, who was previously skeptical about Tang Xiu's Chinese medicine doctor status, felt rather incredulous. However, she was also finally aware that this young man turned out to have a very high stature and should be someone that her boss couldn't afford to provoke. She didn't dare to delay after receiving the 2 prescriptions and hurriedly left. Then, Wang Shuigang turned around to see Tang Xiu and smilingly said, "You're really a great man, Boss Tang. Someone with a great mind and integrity who is worth learning from. It's just I'm curious about something. May I know why you want to see my nephew?" Wang Tao hurriedly called out, "Dad." Tang Xiu raised his hand to interrupt him and lightly said, "You're Wang Tao's father and a member of Wang family, so I won't hide it from you. Wang Rui saved one of my people in the South China Sea some time ago. It's the reason why I came here, to express my gratitude. Moreover, I'm not only the owner of Magnificent Tang Corporation or the young divine doctor of Star City Chinese Medical Hospital, I'm also a cultivator. I don't think that many people are aware of the term or what being a Taoist cultivator means, but you're a member of the Wang family, so you should be very clear, no? Taoist cultivator?" Wang Shuigang's eyes grew as big as a saucer and he exclaimed as he backtracked a few steps in shock. "I told you this fact because of my relationship with Wang Rui," said Tang Xiu indifferently. "But I hope this issue will never be known to anyone other than you two." Wang Shuigang hurriedly waved his hand and replied, "It won't happen. Only the 3 of us will know this. We, a father and son, will never tell another soul." "All right, you don't need to worry about Wang Tao's illness." Tang Xiu nodded and said, "I guarantee that he will recover to his best in 7 days. I'll have to concoct and administer the medicine to him later, so you can leave if you have nothing else." Seeing Tang Xiu's indifferent attitude towards him, Wang Zhugang was truly regretting what he did inwardly. However, how would he be willing to miss such an opportunity to make friends with this hard-to-see great personage? He let out an obsequious smile and said, "Boss Tang, I actually came over to this place for a few reasons. First, I wanted to see how my wastrel son has been doing recently. And the second reason is to bring him over to participate in the opening sales ceremony of our Golden Goblet Emperor, Gu's Villa Complex. Having you visiting Qinglin County is an honor for our county, so I wonder whether you can also honor us to attend the opening sales ceremony of our villa complex later?" "I'm not interested," flatly refused Tang Xiu. He did have no sliver of interest in coming to the opening sales ceremony of this villa complex. One of the reasons was because of Zhang Xinya, whom Wang Shuigang had invited to come. He didn't want to meet her in Qinglin County. Wang Shuigang was a bit embarrassed, but he still smiled and turned his head to his son and sent him a signal with his eyes. He even made up his mind that he would spare the lesson he was going to teach his son for being infected by the venereal disease, if this brat was able to make Tang Xiu pleased. Wang Tao also had similar thoughts at this moment. Now that his father winked at him, he suddenly realized that an opportunity to render meritorious deeds to redeem his mistakes had just come. He hurriedly smiled obsequiously and said, "Big brother Tang, you're my brother, while my family is also about to have a big and happy event. You really must give me face and come with us together. I know that my dad was wrong, please don't be angry with him." A surprising light gleamed in Tang Xiu's eyes. He hesitated before replying, "To be honest, I just forgot some other matters of why I really can't attend the opening sale ceremony of your villa complex. It's because I must go to the Qingcheng Monastery to look for Wang Rui. Firstly, it's to send him the healing medicine and personally thank him, while secondly, there's something that I need him to help with." "Help on what issue, exactly?" Wang Tao was confused. "It's not a big deal, in fact," said Tang Xiu casually. "I heard that the Qingcheng mountain has so many precious herbs of various types. My cultivation has kind of reached a bottleneck recently, so I need 2 kinds of precious herbs." Wang Hao wore a look of delight and replied without hesitation, "Big brother Tang, as long as those herbs are within Qingcheng mountain, I'll help you find them." "What are those 2 magical herbs you need?" "You really can help me?" asked Tang Xiu, hesitating. "Of course, I can," said Wang Tao proudly. "You see, I forgot to tell you that my dad used to be a very famous barefoot doctor in the surrounding areas. He once healed a certain great man from another big city of his sickness. I am also able to identify many herbs due to his edification and influence. So I even organize an annual event to send people to seek precious herbs in the mountain and then send those herbs to Qingqing Monastery, to exchange them with some good things from there. Chapter 843. Yes, I love Tang Xiu. Tang Xiu had long realized that Wang Tao definitely had some knowledge about Chinese medicine, or at least had some rudimentary knowledge on it, else he wouldn't just spend 12 million yuan to buy the red silk flower like an ignorant kid who knew nothing of its value. After seeing that the road ahead was almost paved, Tang Xiu intentionally wore a surprised look and asked, I need a millennium wild ginseng and a red silk flower. Can you help me find them, Wang Tao? Wang Tao stared blankly for a while as he patted the back of his head all of a sudden and forced a smile. Had you come half a month earlier, I could have put them before you in just a minute, big brother Tang. But now, I can only take out the millennium wild ginseng since I already gave the red silk flower to my uncle. What? Tang Xiu's expression changed and he looked deeply disappointed. He literally traversed thousands of miles to Qingqing Mountain just to get the red silk flower from Wang Tao. But the latter turned out to have given the flower to his uncle, the vice abbot of Qingqing Taoist Monastery, half a month ago, which made him feel helpless inside. Wang Tao's expression suddenly moved, and he quickly said, Big brother Tang, I can accompany you to Qingqing Monastery to find my uncle if you really need that red silk flower. Although I heard that he also needs that flower as it seems to be related to the configuration of the medicine. Half a month ago, he still had several precious herbs, so the red silk flower shouldn't be used up by now. How about going there now? Asked Tang Xiu immediately. I don't want to delay it any longer. Seeing how anxious Tang Xiu was, Wang Tao laughed inwardly. He actually had another intention out of his selfishness to personally bring Tang Xiu to Qingqing Monastery. Not only did he want to show his goodwill to Tang Xiu, but he also wanted to let his uncle know that he was the one who sent that red silk flower. That flower should be a very good object if such a mighty cultivator like Tang Xiu seemed to be hell-bent on obtaining it. How about waiting until the day after tomorrow, big brother Tang? You see, I still have to take the herbal medicine medication, while I also must participate in the opening sales ceremony of my family's Golden Goblet Emperor Gu's Villa complex. If you could wait for me, we'll immediately leave for the mountain right after the opening ceremony. Tang Xiu thought it over and silently nodded. He didn't know the location of the Qingqing Monastery, so it was better to wait for Wang Tao for 2 days to take him there instead of entering the vast mountain without knowing where it was. Yet, he could see the obvious intention of Wang Tao's words, hoping that he could attend the opening sales ceremony of his family's villa complex. This really gives me a headache. Tang Xiu was keenly aware of the smug joyful light gleaming in Wang Tao's eyes. He forced a wry smile and said, So, where will the opening sale ceremony of your Golden Goblet Emperor Gu's Villa complex be held? I'll be attending on time the day after tomorrow. At the side, similar excitement could be seen hanging on Wang Shuigang's face. He might have a big enterprise and be honored as the Qinglin County's local tycoon due to his wealth and importance, but compared to some large companies in China, it's like the difference between day and night. The magnificent Tang Corporation may have been established less than a year ago, but he knew that this company was very large and has been developing like a soaring rocket. A few months ago, the said company had acquired a very large plot of land in Shanghai and also held a tender for construction companies all over the country. His construction company was not qualified to attend the tender. The rumors were that only the first top 10 of domestic construction companies were eligible for bidding. Wang Shuigang thought that he was already rich, but compared to this person before him, the gap was like a chasm. Though the magnificent Tang Corporation had long been valued to have industries worth no less than 10 billion yuan, it was still unknown whether it also included the other invisible wealth Tang Xiu might have. If he could invite Tang Xiu to attend the opening sales ceremony of the Golden Goblet Emperor Gu's Villa complex, It would definitely cause a huge sensation in the real estate industry, even the entire business community. That would lead to his company's reputation to soar and would smooth out the path of development in the future. Sinbao 5-star Hotel. Inside the presidential suite 1208, Long Jinglin rested comfortably on the sofa, imagining the scenes of Tang Xiu getting shut out by Wang Tao when he visited that guy, a frenzied smile appearing on his rough face. Ding, dong. The doorbell sounded and Long Jinglin lackadaisically glanced at the door. He immediately waved to Jin Shi, who was sitting cross-legged in cultivation, and said in a weak voice, "Could you please open the door? Your boss might have come back and found the door locked." Jin Shi just let out a hollow smile in response to his words and headed to the door. If someone else spoke these words to him, he would have definitely slapped that person, but Long Jinglin was an exception. This guy had a very close relationship with his boss, so Jin Shi didn't dare to offend him. "Huh? It's you," as Jin Shi opened the door and looked at the slim yet graceful Zhang Xinya with her excited face. He couldn't help but exclaim. Zhang Xinya herself had seen Jin Shi, so she instantly affirmed that Tang Xiu had come to Qinglin City. She was a bit absent-minded at this moment, yet she was very excited inwardly and quickly asked, "Is Tang Xiu here? I wanna see him." "Boss is not here. He's currently outside tending to some things," answered Jin Shi. Zhang Xinya took a deep breath and directly squeezed herself into the room. A disappointed look flashed in her eyes when he saw that the man nested in the sofa was actually Long Jinglin. Then she asked again, where he could possibly go to. "I don't know the whereabouts of my boss," said Jin Shi. "He only ordered Ao to follow him to deal with some matters and told the rest of us to stay here and wait for him." Zhang Xinya was silent for a short while before she took out her mobile to dial Tang Xiu's cell number. This time, it only rang a few times before her call got picked up. "Where are you, Tang Xiu?" "Qingcheng Mountain, Qinglin County." Zhang Xinya couldn't help but feel happy inwardly. She used to call Tang Xiu, but she could also sense the obvious rejection expressed by Tang Xiu. But now, he didn't even lie to her and directly told her where he was. "I'm also in Qinglin County and am staying in the presidential suite of the Sinbao 5-star Hotel, the same lodging as you. Your men told me that you're outside tending to some things, so I won't bother you. But I'll be waiting for you here." Having said that, she directly hung up the phone, seemingly afraid that Tang Xiu would flatly refuse her. Long Jinglin got up from the sofa to look at Zhang Xinya with a strange expression covering his face. "You know, if anyone outside knew that the big star Zhang Xinya is actually waiting for a man in a hotel, I'll be damned if none of the men in the world will be jealous of him, no? You like my big bro, don't you?" "I do. I like Tang Xiu," replied Zhang Xinya without hesitation. Cough. Cough. Long Jinglin was so stunned that he choked on his saliva. He was at a loss between either tears or laughter as he said, "I wouldn't have asked had I known it earlier. Asking or not ends up with the same result, damn it. Big bro's luck with pretty flowers is truly against heaven. I know that he has great luck with women, but I don't care." "But, who exactly are you?" asked Zhang Xinya. Tang Xiu hasn't mentioned me to you?" Long Jinglin rolled his eyes and resentfully said, "Long Jinglin, the second young master of the Long family? Darn it. I have always been his most faithful and loyal brother, for God's sake." Zhang Xinya faintly smiled and said, "I once met Long Zhengyu, so you're his younger brother. No wonder you have such bearings and temperament. You should also have tons of young women liking you, no? My demeanor, huh?" Long Jinglin's eyes lit up before he clapped his hands and smilingly said, "You seem to have good eyes, big sis-in-law." "You're right, though I may be not as charming and handsome as Tang Xiu, I still have my good demeanor, don't I? Anyways, please have a seat, big sis-in-law. Are you thirsty or would you some fruit? I'll make some tea for you," and called the hotel's attendant to send them immediately. "Thank you." Zhang Xinya smiled inwardly. Since Long Jinglin came to Qinglin County with Tang Xiu, she could tell that this guy had a very close relationship with Tang Xiu. If she could make Long Jinlin see her in a good light, she could get more news about Tang Xiu, and this guy might be able to speak good things about her. She was one who had been full of confidence of herself in the past, but Tang Xiu's estranged attitude toward her had hit her so hard that she could only accept such treatment. Qinglin County, at Wang Tao's residence. Tang Xiu calmly concocted the herbal medicine while a rich scent of medicinal herbs filled each corner of the kitchen. Yet, his mind was racing as he silently thought about some issues. At present, what he urgently needed to do was to get the red silk flower, as this magical herb was simply too scarce. But the red silk flower obtained by Wang Tao unexpectedly had changed hands to Wang Rui's father, the deputy abbot of Qingcheng Monastery. He didn't know whether he would get that flower when he visited the Qingcheng Monastery the day after tomorrow. Should I use something to exchange for it? Exchanging it with the immortal cultivation technique is out of the question since Qingcheng Monastery is also an old section. Once I impart the immortal cultivation technique to someone from Qingcheng Monastery, this sect will definitely gather cultivation resources wantonly. That will prove to be very disadvantageous for my own progress and the everlasting feast hall's development. What about medicinal pills? This may be a good option, but I don't know whether Wang Rui's father will like the medicinal pills refined by me either. As for something else that can be used. Countless thoughts wandered in Tang Xiu's mind, making him even put the call from Zhang Xinya to the back of his mind. 10 o'clock at night, Tang Xiu watched Wang Tao take the herbal medicine and apply the boiling liquid for an external application on the ulcerated area of his member. Then he explained, take the medication and apply it every day successively for half a month. Then your illness will be completely cured. Also, take the herbs with you when you go with me to Qingcheng Monastery the day after tomorrow. That way, you can still boil and administer them when we get there. No problem. Wang Tao quickly complied. Tang Xiu suddenly thought of something and asked, if I list the names of some precious herbs, can you help me buy them? What I need are premium quality herbs. You can set the price for them. I may not have the ability to accomplish other things, but I'm absolutely good when it comes to buying medicinal herbs. Wang Tao grinned and said, Qingcheng Mountain may not have various things, but it never lacks herbs. After we come back from the Qingcheng Monastery, as long as the precious herbs you need can be found here, I can buy them for you no matter how many. Then I'll present you a big gift if you can help me buy them, said Tang Xiu with a smile. Big gift? What is it? Wang Tao's expression moved and he hurriedly inquired. Tang Xiu patted his shoulder and smilingly said, it won't be a surprise if I tell you now, right? No rush, mate. You know haste makes waste. I'll naturally fulfill my promise and gift you a big surprise when I obtain a lot of precious herbs from you later. Chapter 844, Doomed Love. The hazy and misty moonlight shined down, accompanied with a caressing warm breeze of the spring blooming of flowers, sending their faint fragrance to the air of Qinglin County. Several house sparrows flew out of buildings' windows as though they wanted to race with an SUV that was slowly traversing the road ahead. What do you think about Wang Tao? Asked Tang Xiu while sitting in the back seat, smoking. A faint smile hung on his handsome face while he unfocusedly looked outside. He's a shrewd and astute one with a silver tongue, answered Mo while driving. He may have tried to restrain his personality when he met us, but his pride and arrogance as a second-generation nouveau riche can occasionally be seen in his speech and manners. His achievements in life will be limited unless he undergoes some tribulations in life. It's indeed the common problem among the second generation of the rich, Tang Xiu nodded and smiled. It's good to have a unique personality, but if you're too arrogant and domineering, you'll need a huge tribulation to temper yourself, else that arrogance will only invite a lot of troubles. Never mind it for now, though. Let's not talk about him. Let's stop by the cigarettes and alcohol store on the way back. I need to buy some cigarettes. All right, replied Mo. 7+ minutes later, the SUV was parked near the entrance of a tobacco and alcohol store. For young men with gaudy attire and boorish complexions were playing mahjong at the entrance of the store. When Tang Xiu waltzed inside with Mo, he found nobody inside and immediately shouted at the door, "Hey, who's the owner here? I wanna buy some cigarettes." "Serve yourself, then take it to the counter and put the money there." A youth with blonde bleached hair that was playing cards around the table at the door shouted back without moving his eyes from his mahjong cards at all. Tang Xiu secretly shook his head. How could this be called doing business? This guy virtually ignored his job and business. After hesitating for a moment, Tang Xiu spoke again, "I want a lot of them, so you'd better come in." The yellow-haired youth frowned and looked at the store. He unwillingly came while taking the cards in his hand and swayed back to the store and asked, "How many is a lot? And what cigarette do you want to buy?" "I'll take the soft china ones, however many you have in the store," said Tang Xiu. "Soft china?" The yellow-haired youth smiled, yet observed Tang Xiu and lamented, "Soft china is quite an extravagant taste, buddy. I have dozens of packs in my store, do you really want to take them all?" "Yup." Tang Xiu nodded. The yellow-haired youth smiled and said, "Wait a sec." A few minutes later, Tang Xiu and Mo held dozens of soft china packs and left the cigarette and alcohol store. They threw all of them into the back seat and then quickly left the premise. The yellow-haired youth walked out of the store and watched the SUV leaving. Then, he returned to the table and grinned, "I just bumped into some county money bags, guys." He didn't even ask the price but directly bought all the soft china in my store. A young man with a green snake tattooed on his neck curled his lips and hummed, "Humph, what a shitty county money bags. It's just dozens of soft china packs." Still, that young master was way too reckless to wander around his grave though. To think that he spent all of his money to buy hundreds of soft china, damn it. Anyways, stop spitting out bullshit, will ya? Just get back to your cards and play mahjong. Unusual light gleamed in the eyes of the yellow-haired youth as he grinned. "You should bring us brothers when you go grave robbing, whoosy bro. We've really wanted to broaden our horizon with you for a long time, you know." "No shit." The tattooed youth rolled his eyes and shouted, "Are you fucking not afraid that Zhongzi will tear you apart? Or have the yang energy in your body swallowed by those ghosts?" The yellow-haired youth shrunk back but immediately said with a dry smile, "That's what I mean, bro, whoozy. It's not impossible if you want to have more experience by tagging along with me. But let's make an agreement first. If any of you were to experience an accident or danger in the tombs, I will have nothing to do with it," said the tattooed young man casually with a proud smile. "Also, each of you can only take up to 10% of the treasures you'll get from there." "Fine. No problem. Heard you loud and clear, brother whoozy." The three youths immediately looked excited and complied happily. Sinbao 5-star Hotel. When the SUV stopped at the hotel entrance, Tang Xiu spoke to Mo. "Do you still remember the place we just bought the cigarettes at? Go back there and beat that guy with the tattoo on his neck. Remember to break one of his legs and be confined to bed rest for the next few months." "Understood." Mo still respectfully complied despite feeling confused. Tang Xiu spoke again, "Also, tell that fellow to never deal with the dead or rob tombs again. Else he will not only lose his yang energy but also will implicate his family, be it getting sick, disabled, or even death." "Boss, you ordered me to break one of his legs, meaning you want to save him?" Mo was amazed. "It is to save him from that predicament," answered Tang Xiu. "The more he keeps robbing tombs, the more his body will be contaminated with death qi. He'll die in the tomb in 2 months at the most." After saying that, Tang Xiu got off alone and entered the 5-star Sinbao Hotel. Then he remembered that Zhang Xinya also checked into this hotel and somewhat felt helpless inside. To have someone attached to him with such heavy affection was not something Tang Xiu could bear or enjoy. He couldn't promise to give the said women a future she wanted, let alone have special preference or love for them. Rather than making Zhang Xinya have a sad and painful life in the future, he would rather opt to sever the relationship between them earlier. Thus, he already made up his mind the moment he received her phone call. And this time, no matter how sad she would feel, he must thoroughly tell her to completely sever this doomed love and karma. Inside the presidential suite 1208, Zhang Xinya was leaning drowsily on the sofa. On the contrary, Zhang Xiaoyu looked very energetic and fiddled with her mobile phone. There was no trace of Long Jinglin and only his faint snore could be heard in the next room. Ding, dong. As the doorbell rang, Jean Shi quickly opened the door and looked at Tang Xiu standing outside, and hurriedly reported, "Boss, Miss Zhang is still waiting for you." Tang Xiu nodded in response at his report. He strode to enter the room and looked at Zhang Xinya, whose spirit immediately jolted up, whereas Zhang Xiaoyu hurriedly took back her mobile phone. He nodded at them and said, "It's so late now, you haven't gone back to rest? We can still talk tomorrow if there's time for that." Zhang Xinya strode to greet Tang Xiu, shaking her head and said, "I'm not tired, I wanted to see you quickly. I learned from Zhang Lin that you came to Qinglin County specifically to buy a very important herb, right? There's a medicinal herb I want to buy indeed, but I didn't expect that you'd come here too." Tang Xiu nodded and said, "Anyways, I just saw two suspicious guys nearby when I came in." "Are they your bodyguards?" "The company did give me 2 bodyguards to follow me closely. But they won't appear unless I'm in danger," said Zhang Xinya. "I see. But it's too late now. Since we already met, go back and have some rest." Tang Xiu nodded and said, "Let's talk tomorrow if you have something to say." Zhang Xinya's eyes turned dark. Tang Xiu's intention to drive her away was obvious and it made her feel a bit upset inside. Tang Xiu didn't hide his whereabouts when she called him and she felt that he was no longer repelling her. But now, the feeling of rejection she felt from him was much more intense. She didn't leave and looked at Tang Xiu instead. "Don't tell me you don't like to see me that much?" "It's not that I don't like to see you, but I just don't want to see you," said Tang Xiu. "You are a famous big star and the man who appears with you is bound to be noticed and paid attention to by others, thus creating a misunderstanding. You also know that I already have a girlfriend and will get married in the future, so I don't want to make her misunderstand things." In that instant, Zhang Xinya felt a shearing and stabbing pain in her heart. She couldn't care less about being misunderstood by others, but looking at the apathetic and indifferent look on Tang Xiu's face, she really wanted to tell him that she loved him so much even if he already had a girlfriend. However, she swallowed back those words as they reached her mouth because Tang Xiu still cared about the idea even if she didn't. Such a situation made her really have no face to express the feelings she had inside. Zhang Xiaoyu, who stood nearby, looked at Zhang Xinya's upset expression along with the tears that were looming in her eyes. She immediately paced forward and loudly said, "Mr. Tang, this may be our first meeting, but I know my big sister likes you. But why do you want to hurt her heart? Do you know all the things she does all day? She speaks about you, watches your picture in a daze, and even the wallpaper on her mobile screen is you." "Shut up." Though he felt apologetic, at the moment, Tang Xiu steeled his heart and scolded her, "I'm speaking to Zhang Xinya. You have no right to interrupt us." "I don't have the rights to do so, indeed. But I'm angry to see my sister distressed," retorted back Zhang Xiaoyu angrily. "Aren't you too cruel a man? My sis has been waiting for you for 5+ hours here, and you drive her away right as you come back. You really have no heart." "Whether I'm unfeeling or not is not yours to judge," snorted Tang Xiu and coldly said, "Leave this room immediately, else don't blame me for throwing you out forcefully." "You." Zhang Xiaoyu was still wanting to talk back, but Zhang Xinya stopped her. Tears were now flowing out of her eyes, but she quickly raised her hand to wipe them off. Her eyes deeply stared at Tang Xiu and she even lifted her hands to gently wipe away the traces of dust from Tang Xiu's left shoulder, and then softly said, "If you're tired, then we'll go back to rest first. You can be at ease that I won't bring any more trouble to you. Although you don't want to accept me, my heart will still be satisfied as long as I can still see you from afar." After saying that, she turned around and headed to the door while enduring the pain of her broken heart. While watching her back, Tang Xiu sighed inwardly. It was never his intention to hurt Zhang Xinya's heart. Yet, it was something he must do. It was just like what her sister, Zhang Xinyue, said. He couldn't give her happiness in life, so why should he hold her up? Maybe in the future, she would run into a much better man who could love her dearly. As the women left, the next room's door opened and Long Jinglin stared at Tang Xiu with disbelief, though his eyes were still filled with sleepiness. "Aren't you way too cruel? You see, it's not half bad for you being a bystander," said Tang Xiu lightly. Chapter 845, Being Half-Hearted is Hurtful. Emotional issues were a topic Tang Xiu never wanted to discuss with Long Jinglin, nor did he want to express his opinions or explain his stance. On account of the fact that he did like Zhang Xinya, it was needless to say that he would never hurt her. But without major affectionate feelings, he could only be half-hearted and perfunctory, which would hurt her the most. Long Jinglin himself knew Tang Xiu for a long time and naturally understood his character. Apart from forcing a smile, he could only turn back to the room and continue to sleep. Inside the room of the presidential suite 1206, Zhang Xinya straightly returned to the main bedroom and burst into tears. The wound created by Tang Xiu's words inside her heart was very deep and the pain she felt was like having her heart sheared by a knife. Outside the room, regrets fully covered Zhang Xiaoyu's pretty face since she was the one who enthusiastically told her about Tang Xiu just to make her happy, but that unscrupulous and unfeeling bastard just made Zhang Xinya suffer. What should I do? She didn't want to see Zhang Xinya drown in sadness. She may be her new manager, but she sincerely hoped that Zhang Xinya could work and live in happiness. The opening sale ceremony of the Golden Goblet Emperor Gao's Villa complex the day after tomorrow is very important, so Sis Xinya will definitely attend the event and sing a few songs, but her current mood will definitely affect the day. If she keeps crying, she will lose her voice and have swollen eyes, negatively affecting her. Zhang Xiaoyu was so anxious that she wandered around the room for a long time. Suddenly, she remembered another person and immediately went back to her room, hurriedly grabbed her mobile phone, and dialed a cell number. "Hey, how haven't you rested yet, Xiaoyu? Why are you calling me so late?" Zhang Xinyue's lazy voice came from the phone. "Big sis Xinyue, I seem to have made a mistake," said Zhang Xiaoyu bitterly. "What mistake did you make?" asked Zhang Xinyue. "Did my sister scold and reprimand you?" "We're now in Qinglin County at the foothill of Qingqing Mountain. We were invited to participate in a business publicity event," Sis Xinyue said Zhang Xiaoyu hurriedly. "But I didn't expect to meet that bad guy, Tang Xiu, in the same hotel we're checking in." Sis Xinya waited for him for a long time and finally met him, but... After narrating the whole story, Zhang Xiaoyu continued, "Sis Xinya is now crying so badly. She's truly broken-hearted. Big sis, what should I do here?" There was no reply from Zhang Xinyue from the mobile for a long while. Only after Zhang Xiaoyu loudly asked, "Did Zhang Xinyue speak in a deep voice, when will the commercial event be held?" "The day after tomorrow," hurriedly answered Zhang Xiaoyu. "I'll rush to get there tonight if it's the day of after tomorrow so I can catch up tomorrow," said Zhang Xinyue. "But remember, you must stay with her and wait there before I arrive." "All right." Early in the morning, when the first ray of sunshine illuminated the bedroom, Tang Xiu had just concluded several hours of cultivation. He then took a shower and dressed up before visiting the hotel's dining room for breakfast, then quickly left the hotel. He heard from Wang Tao yesterday that Qinglin County also had a medicinal herbs market, so he was preparing to visit the premises. The Eastern Municipality. The Qinglin County's medicinal herbs market was not large, but the faint scent of medicinal herbs already drifted in the air even when Tang Xiu had yet to enter it. He didn't want to waste time and strode fast to the entrance of the market and immediately released his spiritual sense to search for previous herbs. His spiritual sense quickly observed all the medicinal herbs in the market in just 10 minutes. What made him pleasantly surprised was that he found several previous herbs and with sufficient high age at that. After spending some money to buy them, he quickly lost interest in staying here. You'll need to wait for half an hour if you want to buy more precious herbs, Boss Tang. Today is the weekly opening time of our Qinglin County's medicinal herbs market, so a batch of medicinal ingredients will be delivered here at 9 o'clock. Of course, you can expect quite a fierce competition. Some people who do herb business in the surrounding major cities will also come here to buy those herbs, too. Cheng Yan, the owner of the Hall of Myriad Herbs, spoke with a smile. He felt that he had just gained a fortune from the 2 precious herbs Tang Xiu bought from him. Moreover, nearly half of the medicinal ingredients delivered in the opening week of the market were usually purchased by the apothecary of his Hall of Myriad Herbs from various major villages. After hearing it, Tang Xiu inquired, "Are there any precious herbs being sent over here?" "There should be." Chang Yan nodded and said, "There have been precious herbs appearing every week, even though the quantity is very few. You see, we are very close to Qingcheng Mountain and many people here know about medicinal herbs, to begin with. Especially now that there's the rapid transmission of information, those herbalists know the value of the precious herbs, so we have a lot of people to gather the herbs. There are even some who are brave enough to go to the depths of Qingcheng Mountain to find them." "If so, then I'll be waiting here," said Tang Xiu. As half an hour passed by, several cars headed into the Qinglin medicinal herb market. 2 of them then parked at the entrance of the Hall of Myriad Herbs, as it was the largest and oldest apothecary's store in the entire market. Additionally, many herbalists also visited this store to sell their goods, even though the store itself had its own apothecaries to collect herbs. Unless the medicinal herbs were unable to enter the eyes of his store, half of the delivered medicinal ingredients were usually taken by the Hall of Myriad Herbs. River root reed? Even when the 2 cars hadn't yet unloaded their medicinal herbs cargo, Tang Xiu had already found some precious herbs with his spiritual sense. However, the appearance of such a herb here surprised him somewhat. There was a river in the immortal world known as the ebb-tide Heavenly River. The riverside of the said river had rich yin energy, making it the endemic place for this river root reed. Soon after discovering this, some powerful immortals discovered that the river root reed would grow rapidly if they were to feed the river with corpses. And thus, the other name of this river root reed was corpse-eater grass. Yet, it had a very special effect. It could make bones qualitatively change, be it the bones of mortals or immortals. Therefore, many immortals preferred to use the river root reed as an auxiliary herb to sharpen their body refinement medicine. Shortly after the 2 cars had unloaded all their goods, Tang Xiu picked up several good quality herbs to buy, including that river root reed. But its price was very low, only 280 yuan. With this river root reed, once I obtain the red silk flower, the effect of the blood-seizing pill I'll refine will be a lot better. I can definitely break through to the blood and qi circulation stage after taking the blood-seizing pill. As noon came, Tang Xiu returned to the 5-star Sunbao Hotel. But just as he entered the hotel, he saw Zhang Xiaoyu rushing out from the elevator. This bad guy again. Zhang Xiaoyu, who also saw Tang Xiu, halted her pace and angrily glared at Tang Xiu before she ran and bypassed from the side, disappearing at the hotel entrance. Tang Xiu couldn't help but chuckle. He neither felt angry nor resentful toward this woman. He even thought that it was great for Zhang Xinya to have such a new assistant. At least, this assistant was unlike the previous assistant when he first met Zhang Xinya. That one forced Zhang Xinya to wander around the airport penniless and made her look for him to borrow some money. Outside the hotel, Zhang Xiaoyu looked around for a while before a red Mercedes-Benz car stopped in front of her. As its door opened, Zhang Xinyue, with a mask and sunglasses on, gave the car's keys to Zhang Xiaoyu and asked, "On which floor and what room number does my sister stay here at?" 12th floor, in Presidential Suite 1206, answered Zhang Xiaoyu quickly. Zhang Xinyue nodded in response and headed toward the hotel entrance. Zhang Xiaoyu looked hesitant for a moment before she quickly chased for a few steps and said, "Big sis Xinyue, that bad guy just returned to the hotel and he stays in the Presidential Suite 1208. Please scold him for me if you see him." Zhang Xinyue halted her pace and replied after turning around, "Xiaoyu, I know you care so much about my sister, but you shouldn't meddle in her emotional issues. Besides, I have met Tang Xiu and he's indeed a very good man. It's me who doesn't want my big sis to get entangled in any emotional relationship with him." Zhang Xiaoyu blanked out and she looked a bit nervous and said, "I understand, big sis." Then, Zhang Xinyue took the elevator to the 12th floor. She didn't rush to the Presidential Suite 1206 but instead headed toward 1208 and rang its doorbell. As the door opened, she took off her sunglasses and mask and then asked, "Is Tang Xiu inside?" Mo Ao, who opened the door, was immediately stunned and hesitated but finally replied, "Yes." Zhang Xinyue came inside and saw Tang Xiu sitting on the sofa, fiddling with his mobile phone. She immediately smiled and greeted, "We meet again, Mr. Tang." Tang Xiu looked up and shook his head and smilingly replied, "To tell you the truth, I've seen a lot of twin sisters, but the ones that look identical like you two sisters are really rare. Anyways, did you just rush over to Qinglin County in a hurry? You really care about your big sister." Zhang Xinyue came to the front and took a seat across Tang Xiu, and smilingly said, "She's my big sis, after all, so it's natural that I must care about her so much. And Mr. Tang, I have to thank you for using your words to stimulate my sister. There's no need for such pleasantries, it's just what I must do," waved Tang Xiu. Zhang Xinyue fell into silence and then suddenly asked, "Mr. Tang, is your relationship with your girlfriend as good as ever?" "Of course." "Why the question, though?" said Tang Xiu with a tranquil expression. A disappointed look flashed in Zhang Xinyue's eyes. She then nodded and said, "I see. Then I'll persuade my older sister to let her feeling go earlier. Also, if it's not necessary, I'd like to ask you not to meet my sister again in the next few days. We'll leave Qinglin immediately after she finishes her business event. I don't want to meet her again either, but I'm afraid it will be difficult." Tang Xiu shook his head. "Why?" Zhang Xinyue frowned. "Your older sister is invited to perform a commercial show here, as far as I know," said Tang Xiu. "And I must also attend the opening sale ceremony of this Golden Goblet Emperor Ga's Villa complex tomorrow. We'll both come to the same place and time, so I'm afraid that it will be difficult not to meet her, unless—" "Unless what?" asked Zhang Xinyue. "Unless you replace your old sister and attend the opening sale ceremony for the said villa complex on her behalf," said Tang Xiu. "However, I think she will perform at the opening ceremony tomorrow, so you must be prepared if you replace her there." Zhang Xinya spent a while in thought before she slowly nodded and said, "I'll discuss this with my sister. I can take her place at the opening ceremony if she's willing. But I'm not as good as her when performing the program, though it won't be that noticeable, so I'm confident that I can do it."